Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks, the place where geeks come to geek out. As always, I'm Bozer. How's your Monday? Hi, everybody. I'm doing this. We're here again. We're here again. It's fine. I've never streamed before. How you doing? How's your Monday going? I hope everybody has had a wonderful week. I've missed you. It's been 7 days since our last Geek Out Sesh. That's right. Only 7. Not months. Not even years. 7 days. We're on track. Is FGBG back alive? I think so. This is our year, baby. Fun fact, this is the year of the snake. If you follow the Chinese zodiac, guess who's a snake? This guy. Coincidence? I think not. But I hope you've had an amazing week. If this is your first Geek Out Sesh, we do this each and every Monday at 8:30 Eastern Standard here live on Twitch and on YouTube. And you can always catch it live and join the chat. Like our friend DSB is here, showed up right away. Thanks for being here, man. If you've been here before, you know the name DSB. He is a staple. Thanks for being here. And he says, yeah, 3 in a row too. Buddy, I think it's 4 in a row. 4 in a row. Right. And we just hit February. We only missed the first week because we weren't ready yet. Now we are. And we've already got some exciting guests lined up for February. Right. Who plans ahead? Not me. Except now. I do. But if you're watching back after the fact on YouTube or on podcast, thank you. Thanks for making us part of your week, part of your day, part of your ear holes. I'm thrilled to be inside them. T is still sick. Yeah, if you see why I'm completely unleashed, that's why. Normally he would have roasted me about 4 times already. So please, if you're in the chat, take his place. Keep me grounded. Keep me humble. Otherwise, I'm just going to fly right off the handle and say a bunch of crazy ass shit. And nobody to keep me reined in. You know what? I'm not hating it. But I do hate that T's not here. I miss him. Send him all your best. He's still sick and been trying to kick this massive cold, fever, whatever he's got going on. He's on the up and up. He's on the upward swing, but not out of the woods yet. So send him his love. You can do so through our links below, through all of our socials. Give him some love. Heroes of Evermore just showed up. How's it going, buddy? Hope you've had a great week. I think you might be familiar with our guest tonight, and all of you are going to get to know very well our guest tonight. So thanks for tuning in. Stick around. If you are in the world of 3D printing, wanting to get into 3D printer, or in my case, have 2 3D printers in a box that I can't put myself to put together because I'm terrified and I need a kick in the pants and some tips and tricks. So I'm going to selfishly use this as a how-to. Maybe I'll just start putting it together and they can guide me along the way. But while you're in the chat, go ahead and use QOTD, which is the question of the day. And tonight I really want to know, I'm in a mood of like, why wait to pursue that thing that you've always wanted to pursue? And I feel like our guests will help give us some encouragement on how to get out of that tonight. Because the question is, what's the main thing holding you back from pursuing that passion project in 2025? We've all got things that we kind of put on the back burner or put on that bucket list, something that really lights our fire, but we think we'll get to it someday. Or maybe it's time, maybe it's materials, maybe it's finances, maybe it's just imposter syndrome. And you think, I'm not allowed to get into that or have any sort of excitement about that. That's weird. There you go. First answer on the night, confidence. Maybe it's confidence. You don't think that you're good enough. My answer would be so much of all of those things. Like, for example, FGBG. We all know last year in 2024, it took a huge back burner. And for me, my excuse was bandwidth. I got really busy in other areas of my life, and I thought I just can't spread myself thin enough. And I do preach that rest is productive, and I do believe that. But for me, I know that there is a point that it no longer becomes a valid reason and just becomes a crutch or an excuse so that I don't have to push myself or challenge myself. And it's nights like this, it's every Geek Out Sesh, it's every recording of Cloudscape that I'm reminded how much I love this, and this is life-giving and it's important. Especially like last week's Geek Out Sesh with Miss Devon Video Game Universe. If you missed it, check out the playlist or on the podcast, listen back, because it was so beautiful. Like, she took something that she cared about, which is video games, and she created a whole world out of it, teaching kids how to play video games and using them as a bridge to connect them all over the internet, all over the world. And it would have never happened if she didn't allow herself to turn that passion project into a career. Now she's able to do it full time, and it's just so cool. And so I'm curious for you. I heard confidence. Another one from Hose is toddler/work-life balance. Valid. You got to put first things first. And for a lot of us, it is family. It is those little ones biting at your heels. And in my case, that little one biting at my heels is just a dog. But for some of you, it's a lot more than that, than just feeding them or letting them out. So ask yourself if these things that are your obstacle, if they're a valid excuse, or have they moved into the realm of crutch or an excuse? I can't answer that for you. Nobody can, only you. But I encourage you, while you're listening tonight, maybe take a look at it. Think, is now the time? Is this year going to be the year that you use to launch into that thing? Because as we like to preach here on FGBG, when you geek out loud, then you find your tribe. So especially if that obstacle is that you think no one's going to like it, or you're not going to find other people that will accept it. The ironic thing is, the more you lean into it and the louder you get about it, the more people can find you, and then they can pull themselves out of their own personal silos and geek out with you. And then all of a sudden you've created a community and you're no longer alone. DSB says, my main thing is time or resources or money or late stage capitalism or the world being on fire, etc., etc., etc. You know, I don't hear any excuse there. Those are all 100% valid. Everyone except DSB, take a hard look and see, has it become a crutch? Because, yeah, life is hard. This world is on fire. And it's little precious projects and things that we can geek out about that become like the main thing of our escape, sometimes the only escape. And it's healthy and important to make space for those kinds of things. So I'm going to be pushing you a little bit tonight while we're geeking out with tonight's guests. Speaking of tonight's guests, I've yapped enough. I think it's time that I introduce you and I get a chance to better get to know our guests tonight, because I've been drooling over their Instagram feed and their website and all the things that they've created through 3D printing. 3D printing is everywhere now, and it became a lot of people's COVID hobbies. I just wasn't engineerly minded for that kind of thing yet it ends tonight. So I'm excited. I can't wait. And they've got some really cool things that you're going to want at your table. And it's going to make your whole TTRPG experience a whole lot sweeter for you and your players. So please, without any further ado, let me introduce to you Kira and Jacob of Curations by Kira.
Hello.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, thanks. We're happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nerd out.
Yeah, nerd out, geek out, all the outs. Let's just out ourselves.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Yourselves, how about that? The 2-box printers over there.
Yeah. I
bring those out.
Put it on the. Honestly, I should drag them out. I'm like, is this a good one?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, it was when Henry Cavill broke the internet by building a PC. Let's just do that here.
Yeah.
Just you hunkered over top of the 3D printer. We'll help you step by step. I think it's good content.
Who needs directions when I have two experts right in front of me?
Yeah.
I always knew that when I put that thing together, I'm going to need someone to hold my hand. So why not you?
Happy to do so. Sure.
No, in my defense, is an excuse or a valid reason? I don't know. You tell me, internet. I got them for Christmas. They were both gifts.
Well, so recent.
Two different people. They both had a really great idea and thought about it for a long time. Just didn't talk to each other about it. And so, two different brands of 3D printers.
Okay.
And then, like I my situation kind of changed a little bit, and so I've been using that as like an excuse why I haven't jumped fully in. But it's soon, and I'm hoping tonight really inspires that soon.
Yeah, awesome. Do you know what type of printers at all, or they're in the back?
I know one is an Ender V3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scale of 1 to 10. How is that?
3 years ago, great.
Cool. You know what? That's fine for me.
Take it so direct.
That's my stride. I don't want the latest, greatest. I won't be able to handle it anyway.
Hey, if you want to learn 3D printing, Ender 3 is literally it. Like you will learn it inside and out, getting that thing going.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is it too complicated? Like even Bozer couldn't figure it out?
No, I have faith in you. I think you could get it. Yeah.
Wow, you guys. He spoke to me before streaming. He still has faith in me. This is boding well for me. Speaking of 3D printings, Morgan from Heroes of Evermore says, "Hey guys, our Mystic Con convention was made so much better by you guys."
Oh my
that's
gosh.
awesome.
So glad you're here. Thank you. Good here.
Yeah, from what I understand, anybody, if you saw our Geek Out Sesh with Morgan and the Forever DM or the OKS DM on Mysticon, they had those printed and given to their panel guests, and they made a great gift. And so you guys made their first Mysticon a little better. So thank you for that.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Yeah, they've been really popular, and I'm glad they were for you as well.
You kind of have one in your hand. Do you mind holding it up? Yeah, guys, here's a taste of what we're going to talk about tonight. So that's a mug holder. You can put any size can in it. And does it only? No.
Oh, yes. And then you can still take a drink out of it with the dice inside.
Did you just do it?
Yeah.
The dice are still...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they usually have a little lip that holds it. No, it's hard to see, but there's like a little lip so it catches on it while you're drinking.
We just find playing any sort of TTRPG, the table space can be quite limited, and everyone has their drinks, their snacks, they have their dice sets, and if we can collapse some of that into one, and be on theme, we've found it really popular, and we enjoy it, so we brought it out to the community.
I love it. We're going to talk more in depth all about it, but before we get too far, first, if anybody doesn't know what Curations by Kira is or ever heard of you guys, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do as a geek.
Do you want to start, Kira? Or?
No, I was going to go.
Oh, no, okay.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, we've been printing for a while now. I think it started out as a pandemic hobby.
Of course.
Yeah, I know. You called it.
Yeah. It was our first 3D printer was as a gift from you. It was because
he spoiled me, so I spoil him back.
Yeah, and so we started out with resin printing, and I was just printing a bunch of stuff around for myself and stuff like that, and stinking up the whole house with resin.
How dare you?
And then all of a sudden I go off, I'm all excited about 3D printing. I go off and buy another printer. I buy the jankiest FDM printer. So it's like the classic, like the style of
Ender V3. Is that what you're going to say? Ender V3?
It wasn't that. It was a older, worse model. It was some Chinese knockoff kit printer that I bought for like $100.
Yeah.
And
that's probably the second one that I have.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden there's two printers in the house, and I'm printing away, and Kira's like, what are you doing with all these printers? You already have one. Like, it's okay. And you know what? We can actually, I think we can make money off of these printers, right? And just give me some time. I just got to get good with them. And then I just give me some time to practice, and she was patient. Like, okay,
maybe like a week.
Yeah. And then she just after a while, Kira just started taking the things that I was making for us and for her, and be like, this is nice, and then just posting them up on Marketplace, and from there it just sort of exploded.
I think we lucked out as well because we started posting in high season, so like in October, November, as opposed like people are looking for gifts for people for their loved ones. Yeah,
I thought there was a 3D printing season that I was not aware of.
Yes.
Well, I mean, yeah, 3D printing season is the holiday season for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That tracks.
But yeah, we started out. I mean, for me, and what I see with so many other 3D printers, what was holding me back from my passion back in 2020, yeah, was perfectionism. Right, I was so focused on making sure that everything was perfect, that I knew absolutely everything, and had these incredibly high standards for myself. Where Kira was then seeing me making these things and saying, they look fantastic, you should share these with people. And it took that intervention to say that no, what I was doing is good enough, and that people would absolutely love it. And that was a huge turning point for me. Yeah, it was perfectionism that was really stopping me.
Which is such a valid thing, because it's like wrapped into that perfectionism is like imposter syndrome and insecurity. And it's like, only if I can get it absolutely perfect and make sure that it's better than anything else, then it will be worthy of somebody's praise or somebody wanting to buy it. But
there's no better time like the present. So
right, like what did you tell him to help kick his ass and get him out of that?
I don't have that nerve for perfectionism, and I just wanted some money. We were students, and I was like,
"We got bills to pay, Jacob."
I was like, "I'll post it. If it does, well, awesome. If it doesn't, I'll try something else." And just like if that doesn't do well, oh well, try something else. We just made things that we liked and just kept at it. So there are projects that we believe in and we love, and we put it out there. It doesn't do as amazing as we thought, but I put it back on the back burner. Like I don't immediately get rid of it. I'll bring it back again. And I think a lot of people just find a fail. They label it as a fail, and then they scrap it. It's gone. They don't want to touch it. You know, they get embarrassed quickly. But you just got to push through. It's okay. It could be a timing thing. You know, you did a post on a certain day, it didn't go well, or some people weren't into it. I mean, a month later, it could blow up. You never know.
So she comes in with it with like logic and looking at all the things, and we're at, it didn't work. Take it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and so we just started. We started out with dice towers. Dice towers have always been our bread and butter. It was there was a Creative Commons free to sell dice tower on Thingiverse. They're everywhere now. Oh yeah. But it's like this little spiral staircase tower. It had this little gate that rolls out in.
But back then, it's everything new.
Everything was no one really was doing too much 3D printing back then, and so everyone was super excited to see what we were putting out there.
Exactly.
So it started with dice towers, and then it went into little resin figures. So the first thing that really took off was our Dice Guardians. So this was our first sort of foray into our first foray into Etsy. Was going away from Marketplace and starting to post these little the dragons specifically were absolutely killing it
for years.
And there's just these little dragons, and they just cuddle over top of your die and keep them safe.
Yeah, I think that's so cute when I saw those on your Instagram feed.
Yeah, and honestly, those launched us into the 3D printing e-commerce world, and I think a lot of it is like you just need one big break. You just have to keep trying different things, and then once you're in, people then go to your page. They keep following what you're doing, and it just sort of took off from there.
And it's so interesting. I'm thinking about this because I was having a conversation with somebody. This is related, I swear. Like Van Gogh and movie, like the movies that we would find are classics. A lot of times in their era, they get no love. And they, like, we are so used to more instant gratification that when you put something out or make something, if it doesn't blow up and everyone's buying it, then
Exactly.
it's a failure.
Yeah,
When really time is allowed and a necessary part of your craft. And I guess that's why it's called Curations by Kira, is because she's the only one with that kind of vision.
Well, it's so now, that it's Kira's vision and direction that really pushes our business forward. So I mean, if I'm stuck on a task, I just get I get stuck on the fine details and I'm never able to get past it. So it's always her direction. So pretty much everything we print and everything we design, it's all from Kira's brain. So she'll draw out these full schematics and stuff for all of our designs
with a Sharpie.
On and she'll give me the starting idea, and then she'll send me off, and I'll start tinkering away, and then she'll come back and like, what are you doing? This is just do it just simple. And I'm like, because I get stuck in weird little sections, but it's always been Kira who really helps provide that vision and guidance to all everything that we do.
And
make a great team.
Yeah, and that's my question, because because you guys are married, yes?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How long have you been married?
Good question.
Almost 3 years now?
We've been together since we were 17, so I'm just trying to, we've been married just a few years.
Yeah.
I can relate with that.
Quite a while.
Yeah. And it's weird when you've known somebody that long, because then at that point you're like, marriage, we were pretty much already married 15 years ago. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of married couples specifically do not work together because they wouldn't work well together. But it sounds like you guys navigate each other's maybe weaknesses and strengths really well. How do you do that? Tell the people on the internet how to do it right.
Oh, do you want to start with this one?
Me?
Yeah. What do you?
Yeah, you're the brains. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just our personalities. So we're both quite similar in that we are workaholics, and we get motivation off of one another. And so if one person's working in a kind way, I feel like I have to work, right? And vice versa. But I don't know, there's pros and cons to both being workaholics. It's the drive has gotten to where we are today for sure. And just a lot of communication, so many check-ins, daily, hourly. We're really great at just being mindful of what to connect with one another and just make sure that we're both on the same page or a similar page, the same book, and just to navigate if one needs some more space or needs some more time or patience or encouragement. There's definitely going to be hard times, but we just feel so blessed. Now we're in it 4 years. We work together every day. Honestly, we work after work and all weekends. We don't really take breaks. We're just always in each other's space, working on something.
What I'm hearing is that you guys communicate your needs. You don't just assume that the other person knows what you're thinking.
No.
Or knows what you need. You do that terrifying thing of looking at the house and saying, honey, this is what I need. Which is huge.
It is.
That's not a skill that everybody has, especially when you're working together, let alone being married, period. So kudos to you, honestly, the way that you figured that out. That's huge.
Yeah, thank you. And I think another reason why we've done as well as we have is we really have we work together really well. So when it comes to packing orders, we're a great sort of assembly line system. So we work really well together, but we're really good at establishing roles that we're really good at and excel at. So for example, I'm very good at physical labor, and so constantly tinkering with the printers, waking up early, staying up late, making sure everything's constantly going. So my focus has always been printer maintenance, which then frees up Kira from not having to do any of the printer maintenance and going absolutely full balls to the wall with social media and managing online stores and so having that split of tasks and clear roles It's been essential because I think so many people just try to take on everything themselves, and they think as social media as a afterthought. But honestly, if you don't have like proper social media, or at least a dedicated person on social media, it's impossible to balance both, and then you get burnout, right? If you're trying to do everything at once, it's
Social media to me, like, you remember when social media was fun? You remember that? Like, kids, if you're looking back at this, social media used to be fun. Now it's like a rat race. It's constantly trying to figure out the algorithm, finding out, like, which changes constantly. And like, it's a necessary tool. It's a super useful tool. And I don't think any of us could do what we do without it. But it's like one of the most annoying and useful things that we use. That's just a rant. I don't know that I have a question after that. I have a lot of feelings about it on my chest. I need to get off.
I, for one, am so grateful for Kira because I am so bad with social media. I used to do like a cosplay channel. I tried to keep up with it, but every single post I tried to do, it felt like it was taking hours and hours because it's the perfectionism, trying to make everything perfect, and it was never good enough, right? Where Kira just has that mental drive, you're like, no, gotta post, and just like keeps everything going. And
it's just like fucking energy, like whatever. We like, what is it? Progress is better than perfection, or like done is better than perfect.
That's what I go for.
At least it's progress. If we're waiting for perfectionism, we're going to be waiting forever. I'm grateful for a lot of people in our corner, like Cantina 13, also in your corner. So I came here to support my friends and chew bubblegum.
Nice.
Awesome.
I didn't mention this at the start of the stream, but I originally reached out to you guys because Dylan from Cantina 13 first recommended you and your great work. And I know that you guys have collaborated well with them and their awesome like TTRPG song parodies. Check it out.
They're fantastic. Could not say nicer things about Cantina 13. So if you haven't checked out their channel, please go check it out. They do amazing D&D parody songs, and they have an awesome Kickstarter that is coming up. You can find the link in their bio. Go check it out.
And if you miss it, you could just tune back in for their Geek Out Sesh later this month. We're coming back. It'll be a 3-fer for them.
Amazing.
But like, I want to know who has been your supporters in this community that have helped get you to where you are. Because for us, one of the biggest ones has been Cantina 13. We talk to Dylan regularly, or he talks at us when the content slows down. He's always following up. He's like, hey guys, are you still alive? What's happening? What can I do to support? And he's worked with us to come up with like a 9-step plan to help revive this channel with the support of Cantina 13. So what about you? Who's helped you get to where you're at today?
Definitely, like family has really helped. Just like non-nerdy people, but first off, like family help packing orders and like preventing burnout. That's been huge. And
cheap labor. I like it.
Support system of cheap labor, and then also just people that you can vent to afterward. That's been fantastic.
And then the nerdy community online, now that I'm more on Instagram and TikTok, just finding people around the world, like Beardic Inspiration. Sometimes it can just be someone stitching or duetting your video. Then you get to chatting, you get to learn more from one another. And then you become friends online and then hopefully in person. Same with Cantina 13. So it's just, and then we kind of see that people are following all one another. And then you start following like Dice Cream Sandwiches and then realize they're in Vancouver, and it just like, it expands and your scope expands. It's just a really wonderful community. I don't know if the TTRPG community is just like that in general, but
it's just the best. I think.
I honestly think it is.
Yeah.
Like the greatest thing about this channel is we have no content to offer ourselves, so we just hang out with everyone else, and we have met the greatest people through these little Geek Out Seshes. And especially in the TTRPG space, like every person that we meet is just like genuinely amazing human being. And I don't know if you have any theories as to why, but I feel like it's because in that space, for the longest time, it was kind of pushed to the side. It was seen as unpopular. And so all of us have been craving for community because we didn't think that there was one. And so once you find it, you're going to hold on to it with both hands and not do anything to shit it away, like be a less than decent human being.
It's precious. Protected at all costs.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it comes down to like in TTRPGs, like the core tenet that you really need to follow to that everyone has fun is like the yes and, right? Yes, and so everyone's just really good at that collaboration and coordinate. Like everyone has the same sort of mentality, I guess. And so just any time that like TTRPG nerds get together, they enhance what each other is. Enhance each other's vibe. Yeah. And it just becomes
Everyone's a hype person.
Everyone's a hype person for sure.
It's perfect because that's all I have to offer this world.
Yay! It goes so far. It really does.
It really does. And I'm just really grateful to be part of this community. And I'm glad that you are also keyed in with Cantina 13 because I saw some of your stuff on their videos. And if I would just get a lot around to recording my bit, I too would be in a parody video. I just won't record it yet. It's been like a year.
Doing some vocals, or what are you doing?
I do a little vocals.
Okay,
I might have majored in musical theater. So
okay, damn.
Toss my headphones. If ever it airs, I'm going to share all the dirty story of how bad it was the first time. I claim it wasn't my fault. Dylan would say otherwise. So we'll agree to disagree there. So back up a little bit, because you guys, when you first found your 3D printer, the first thing you thought of was tabletop. I want to make things for the tabletop.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know how expensive miniatures are? Jesus.
Yup. Yup.
Yeah.
So talk about your background in that.
TTRPGs. Oh my God. It's for me, so I'm the TTRPG catalyst in our family.
Okay.
It started with the
gateway.
Yeah. It started with the 3.5 starter box.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got it. Like all I heard of was like D&D. Like my dad had like friends who played D&D in college and stuff like that. But like no one really was playing around me. And then I see it in I think it was EV Games, or it was like EV Games back then. I can't even remember. But the 3.5 starter box, and I immediately was drawn to it. Grabbed it, played it with friends, had a blast. Then all of a sudden I was told, we're all moving away from 3.5, or moving away from D&D. We're going to Pathfinder, because I think they're going from 3.5 to 4th edition, and Pathfinder was all where it's at. And so
nobody liked 4th.
And then I took a long break after that. Like that was in like high school, and it just the people who I was playing with just sort of groups fall apart. People get busy, and it was big sets.
About it.
But then, I think it's a similar story for a lot of people. Is the Critical Role hype, right? So, my buddy was like, "Hey, do you like D&D?" Yeah, I used to play like D&D. I mean, I used to play Pathfinder, but I played some D&D.
Actually, I was more of a Pathfinder guy. So,
and so he had me check out Critical Role, and then just I was screwed.
That was it.
It's D&D crack. But yeah, so I started campaign 1. Probably jumped on at the cows episode, and like I started watching at the cows. It was episode 21ish or 23.
Okay, so early in the campaign,
super early, and I've just been absolutely hooked since. And then my buddy and I were watching it, and we're like, we should play. And so he started up a campaign. We started up a campaign, and then what we were playing, we were doing Tomb of Annihilation. Was my first, like, when I came back into 5e, and then we play quite a bit now since then. We're like I DM a bunch. I've gotten Kira into it. We're running a Pathfinder 2e campaign right now. We just started like last Friday. But yeah, we were just starting a new Pathfinder campaign.
So exciting to start a new campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, and so TTRPGs has just been like absolutely constantly growing in our lives, and that bringing Kira into that as well has just been so much fun. It's just so much fun to play as a couple, because you just get to be. You get to experience your interactions, but like as different people, you know. So it's a weird way for couples to like play in games together. It's being able to interact with your significant other in like a completely through a different persona. It's a very weird.
You find yourself like zooming out and looking at this interaction, like from out of body, because like even though you're playing a new character and sometimes it's really fun to switch it up and be somebody completely unlike yourself, you still can't take yourself out of it completely. So I bet that's lots of fun. Kira, is Jacob, what kind of tabletop player is he?
Well, he's not a very flirty one. I always try to flirt with his character, and he's not into it. I don't know what that says, but
wow.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta play hard to get, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But he's often been my DM, so all the NPCs are different.
Oh, flirt with every NPC. Is he one of them?
Yeah.
One of them has to give.
One of them.
Yeah. What about Kira, Jacob? What kind of player is she? The min-maxer?
Actually, yeah, she's pretty nasty. The last campaign we did together, she was doing, it was 5e, and she did the druid barbarian combo. So raging animal form, just gross nasty tank.
Sick.
Yeah, so she's definitely the min-max. She's also a chaos gremlin. So anything as a DM, if I think I know what she's gonna do, she absolutely finds something that I could not possibly have planned for, but is much better than anything I possibly could have imagined.
Right. It's so much fun to have one of those people at your table, because as a DM, then it expands your own imagination, and then also it's just so cool to find that your players are getting that much into your world that they're seeing things that you can't even see, and it's coming from your brain.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You guys are so fucking cute.
Thank you. I think so.
All right. So back to 3D printing. So you love tabletop. First things you printed were cost-effective things for your table. And so then you started printing these things. You put them out on Marketplace. They started to catch. What was the thing that kind of shifted from like, okay, we're selling some things to this is working. We're like, let's think of it like a business. What was that mind shift like?
It was, I mean, the first one was it was Christmas time. It was the fuck 2020 snowflakes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it was
what people will relate to.
Yeah. And so we put it up. We started to, Kira found the design. It was like, hey, I think these are going to be, this is super fun. I think this is going to be great. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And like at this point, we only had like the one resin printer that Kira got me. And then as we're making it, and they're like, oh, you know what? As we're selling these, I think we're going to do pretty well. It's like, if we sell 5 of them, we're going to get a fancy garbage can. And they're like, oh, you know what? If we sell 7 of them, we're going to get a fancy garbage can and some other a Roomba or something like that. And then they're like, oh, but what if we sell 10 of them? Oh, we're just going to get another printer then. And we sold just stupid amounts of that damn snowflake. And we ended up buying like 3 more printers, and like it was right off.
So a lot of luck.
It was honestly so much like at the time that there wasn't a lot of 3D printers, but like that was the point where we all of a sudden were like thrown right into a multi-printer.
We also
household
1, 2, or 3 printers.
I mean,
so that's what started our farm. So a lot of it was luck. I don't think we'd go out and perhaps bet on ourselves and, back then buy like a mini farm in our small little apartment. But
wait, did you say farm?
Yeah, a 3D printer farm.
Printer farm, yeah. The term, yeah.
But we ended up
from someone who hasn't unboxed his printer. These are lingo that I'm not yet familiar with. I assumed that you had a cow, but a very small one.
Yeah.
Little robot cows that spit out things that we like.
Okay, fuck 3D printing. Let's talk about that. Rebrand.
Right.
But yeah, no. So then it just sort of snowballs from there. So it was mostly what we started with was, instead of just taking the stuff online, because that stuff dries out pretty quickly. You get a small little burst of people who haven't seen it before.
Right.
But like when we were starting, there's like all the Creative Commons free to sell sort of things, that the files that people post up, which was so nice. No, we didn't do any of the flexies, but
I mean, they were.
Oh, like the all the flex, yeah. But what was really helpful is just following along to different Kickstarters, and so there's a lot of I have a crippling Kickstarter addiction, which is all these board games behind me.
He can relate.
Yeah.
I think his wife has banned his credit card from being flagged on the internet for Kickstarter reasons.
But in addition to like tons of board games on Kickstarter, there's also tons of 3D model creators, and they'll put out these bundles of files, and you can buy like merchant licenses for that. Yeah. And what's unique about them is it's Kickstarter, so it's a relatively niche audience. So then you get access to files and stuff that no one's really printing, no one really has access to, and then you can create your own little niche in your area of cool things that no one's seen before. And so that was I think what took us. That was our little the dice guardian dragons and stuff like that. That was a Kickstarter. So it was Orbital Dice. I don't know if they're still in business anymore, but Orbital Dice designed them, and we bought the merchant license for everything they had. They said, give me all the dice guardians. I think this is going to do well. And yeah, that was what our first like year was doing like buying Kickstarter licenses and selling those designs and attributing them and everything like that. But what the next step was with design, like designing the stuff. And so that was
I don't know. I would say also before I went to design is like getting away from Marketplace, because and then jumping to Etsy, like that really, instead of just being local pickup, that expanded to like worldwide in who your customers are, and just taking a risk and like opening up a shop and hoping you get an order or two, and also it was timing 2020 TikTok, everyone was on it, they're at home, and people would spend hours and hours a day watching TikToks, myself included. So I created an account and just would post every single day without fail. And for the longest time, didn't have any followers, didn't go over anywhere. But I was like, I just got to get it out there. I can use the videos again later. It's never a waste. It's always helpful. And that, just having that constant advertisement grew our excitement too when you get more orders on Etsy. So that grew our world and our scope. And then we could focus on, what other things can we add to our shop? What else can we do?
I need a little Kira on my shoulder, because there's so many things that you're saying that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to hear that more often.
Oh, yeah.
So do you print little Kiras that with like voice boxes? That might be your next hit.
Right. Yes.
After this Geek Out Sesh, when it inevitably goes viral, as all videos of ours do, then I think that's going to be your next big bestseller.
Think about it.
Awesome. Helpful Kira buttons.
Yeah. Now, when you guys were talking, I kept hearing this niche word. And this is a word that I've heard lots over the years, as if for Geeks by Geeks, you should niche down. You should stop shotgun spreading what the word geek means. And we've like argued a lot about it on the channel. But it seems like when you take a look through your Etsy shop and Instagram, which we're going to in a minute, I do sense a theme. So how has that been, like niching down? Because with a 3D printer, you can make anything nowadays. Yes. So why not just try to make everything for everyone? And question. Why niche down to like more of the tabletop role-playing space?
Do you want to take this one, Kira?
I don't know how we got to just mainly doing TTRPG, but we're running with it because it's been a success. Even though sometimes I might try something else, our main customers are always wanting something for gaming, game nights, game days. So I don't know. I feel like, there are countless files, things we can design. And I think that'll come in the future and over the years as we become more incredible designers. But I think sticking to your brand can, I don't know, you have customers who are looking for a certain thing. And if you diverse too much, you also get exhausted and things don't connect. And some people might just stop buying from you. But that's just my guess. I don't know.
I kind of feel like you answered the question earlier when you were talking about like why the first thing that you printed was for your table is because it was things that you liked. And when you first started this, you weren't printing things as like a marketing scheme on how can we make money. You thought, what do I like? If I like it, it turns out other people like it. And it just kind of goes back to what I was saying before the start of the stream is like when you geek out loud, you find your tribe. And I think you found it.
Like absolutely. And I think that's the main issue that I see with so many other people who just get into 3D printing because they want to make a successful business, that you absolutely can't do that. It's you have to enjoy 3D printing, and then two, you have to actually care about the stuff that you're printing, because then if you care about it, then like other people are going to care about it as well. And I think for us, at least for what I'm printing, like I'm wanting to print things that I want to use at my table, right? Things that would help me as a DM, and so that was our biggest collaboration, our biggest design that we ever did. Our first sort of entry into Kickstarters was designing like Magic Rape with QB Works, and to have like a little portable GM kit and things like that. Like I was constantly GMing and having to move around and carrying everything in this little bag was just becoming a nightmare. So. So it's just always just trying to print things that solved problems in my TTRPG life and in our TTRPG lives was really what kept us going. And then the fact that the TTRPG community is fantastic and it's just so much fun. And like when I'm looking for videos for inspiration and everything, I'm looking at videos I'd like to look at instead of like if we wanted to try to follow the money, maybe like we'd follow car guys and tool guys and it would feel soulless to me, and then I wouldn't want
and you don't care if you succeed at that point. Like honestly, the theme of all of our Geek Out sessions that we've had this month, like this one and the last 3 before it, were people that didn't go looking for the money. They were pursuing their own passions, and then the money followed because they had the best intentions when they started out, just like you do. And that's how I already know that you're going to find success. You already have, and it's just going to build from here because of the core of all that you create is you. It's not this greedy, money sucking hope that you're just going to play to the masses.
It helps you keep going because you're just motivated to keep creating and connecting with different communities, and it's exciting. And so like if you do something you're not so into, you're gonna stop.
I always told people I don't know why I thought of this, but I heard it earlier in on like the Today Show. Strangely enough, there was some woman on there about designing or whatever, but she expressed that she faced all kinds of challenges throughout her like 20-year career as like a fashion designer. But when faced with challenges, because she was so passionate about it, she was determined to find a way around those. And like when kids ask like, what should I go to for college? Like we always get told that safe thing, especially when you go to school, musical theater, like find a backup. But my advice is always the same. Like find what you're passionate about and pursue it. It may not make sense. It may not be the best, easiest decision, but you're guaranteed that when you're faced with challenges, as you will, and as you have, that you will find the way around it because you care enough to.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Good quote.
Beautiful.
We're gonna clip can we take a stroll through some of the amazing curations by Kira?
Yeah, for sure.
We're sharing the stream here on curationsbykira.com. And if you use Command Kira, you can find the link straight to this website. Or if you're watching back after the fact or podcast, you can find the link below. So give it a click. You can see what we're seeing. Right here on the homepage, I see this thing that my friends have already messaged me about. It's like, I want that Hobbit candy holder.
Yeah. Those were so fun. So fun to design, so fun to print. And it came down to the sort of driving design of all of our things is saving space at the table and trying to maximize as much as we can in our design. So that like
some fun themes.
And fun themes and stuff. And of course, Lord of the Rings, we're always a sucker for anything Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Duh. You're a Lord of the Rings fan, shout out.
Yes.
But you sculpted this, like you designed this first. So when you sculpt it, what kind of program are you using to sculpt it?
It's probably a heavily contested program that most people will be like, how could you possibly be using that? So I do
Paint on Microsoft.
It's the equivalent. But no, so most of like all the if it's sculpting work and stuff like that, you can't mostly I'll do that in either Blender or Mesh Mixer, which is a worse blender, but I like the system better because it's what using. But so much of like once I have all the assets and everything, putting it together is all in Tinkercad.
Tinkercad, that's a new one.
It's free. It's user friendly.
It's fantastic.
Free.
It's free. It's an online web-based app.
Okay.
It's super intuitive, and honestly, I haven't found something for all the the fine detail, like the leaves and stuff, and like all of that is sculpted in a different program. But then I import everything into Tinkercad, and it just makes it so putting everything together and making everything nice and set up in Tinkercad is so much easier than anything else I've been able to use, and it's also free.
Yeah.
So,
which is huge, especially for those starting out like me.
And
exactly.
I think a lot of people get. I mean, it's a very rudimentary program. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of really powerful tutorials and stuff that you can do really, really cool things with Tinkercad, just with playing around.
Yeah.
I think everything here. Can I see? So here the ivy is sculpted separately, and then the grass is sculpted separately. But every other design there is Tinkercad made. Every other feature and stuff was all done in Tinkercad. So there's really so much you can do with the program. There's probably better ways to do it. But for me, this was enough. Yeah. And I enjoy it, and it's all kept in the cloud. I didn't have to buy any fancy program or anything. Yeah.
And I hope that people at home that are starting out hear that you don't need the greatest top of the line. No. You just find what works for you. Yes. And I'm sure the perfectionist in you, Jacob, just was screaming at first to use something like this, but good for you for buying into it.
Yeah. And the imposter syndrome too, because you're not using a high-end, you're not using ZBrush, which is like a $600 a year.
How dare I make money and profit from such a rudimentary program? Who am I?
I didn't spend 300 plus hours learning Blender, which is such a chaotic app that just tries to do too much and ends up needing a PhD to properly pilot. But you can still make really great things with rudimentary tools. It's not the tools that are the issue. It's just it's.
I use it. I really enjoy it because it has different colors for every piece that you're importing and working on, and so it keeps it really neat and tidy to understand and look at and arrange. So even for me, where I do more 2D projects like earrings and hair accessories, I also enjoy Tinkercad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's keep going through some of these other things you're making. This is right on the homepage. We're going to explore some other parts of it. But these are what first attracted me to you guys. Is these mug dice rollers. And it's something you said earlier about you make these because you know the product. You knew to create a small lip on the inside of the dice tray so that you could still take a sip while the dice is in. That's like a small nicety that like somebody outside of this world wouldn't even think of. But you know that it doesn't matter if there's dice in that tray. When you want to drink, you're going to take a drink.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And since there has been like other can holding dice tower designs, and usually what it does is either just rolls it on the table, and then you can roll off the table, which is the absolute worst thing you want a dice tower to do, or it will literally just fall on your face the moment you try to take a sip. Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that we wanted to obviously avoid because
This was our first
So this is the first one that we designed. Yeah. So this one's.
It has the tray.
So this one, I mean, let me just get this one. Not only has it has like the lip and tray in here, but like we really tried to combine as much as we could possibly. Me just trying to work in a mirrored space here. Just don't mind me.
Right, it is a little confusing. I point the wrong way.
No, it's okay. So the tray actually pops off.
Oh,
and
nice.
Underneath, we also have like I designed storage in here.
Oh, cool.
So you can store all of your dice and stuff in here, and then snap the lid back on. So the tray
nice.
to keep and it's all like push fit because we didn't want to have to use like magnets or anything like that.
That eliminates a cup, a dice tray, a roller, and your big dice bag for your dice goblets.
Yeah.
It keeps your drink cold, surprisingly.
And then with the Kickstarter, we also designed like additional things. Like we have like a little round tracker lid. So you can also, if you wanted extra storage, you can store stuff in here. And then we have a little, I don't know if we have it on the website as something we sell, but like, yeah.
You have HP trackers on these things?
HP trackers on, oh man.
We don't have it showing here, but it would be like on the face.
So the fence. So instead of having the wooden fence, HP dial tracker as well.
We just tried to add in as much as we could.
Literally as much utility as possible.
And more people have 3D printers in their home, so they can print whatever they want in whatever color they want. So that was huge for us to start designing ourselves and make it more accessible to people to do whatever they want in their homes.
The dwarven mug that's the elven, the dwarven and elven mugs were really fun. From that we took a lot of Tolkienian script and stuff like that. So like on the front the Elvish quote is "Speak, friend, and drink." But of course in Elvish.
Aww.
And then on the back is an Elvish proverb that to be wise afterwards is useless. So this is like a hangover proverb.
I love that.
And then the dwarven one has the dwarven runes for luck and roll.
See, it's those little things that like that's what I'm going to bring. Not only my really cool mug to my table, but that is something that I get to brag about. And
that has like little stories and stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially if you're playing a dwarf or you're playing an elf.
Right? Yeah.
Those are the things that you're going to tell your friends. I love that. Mm-hmm. Speak, friend, and drink. I'm just going to get that tattooed. Is it copywritten if I just get that tattooed on my face?
You know what? Exclusive permission from us. You can go ahead and yeah.
And perfect. I find like TTRPG accessories can be so expensive. So being able to, because you go through a lot of characters sometimes, and then year after year you want to have dice in their color, you want to have other accessories to really get fully immersed. And so if you have a 3D printer, it's nice to have files and print a new one like for every character, and it's not going to cost you that much in material and time, as opposed to sometimes buying maybe like crazy just like out of wood or something, which can cost you a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm just drooling. You're just watching me drool. Does your cup fall out if you were to tip it all the way upside down? Would your mug fall out?
It's pretty snug, but I mean, if you pour anything upside down, liquid's gonna come out.
Yeah,
is that how gravity works?
It does come out. We designed it tighter before.
It's not gonna knock your teeth.
But the problem was I was drinking a lot of craft beer, and they have the thick, just janky labels that they printed off in their own printer at home, and those things get quite thick. So in order to not piss off the craft beer community, which I would be
Awful.
absolutely terrified of.
Yeah.
We made it so there's enough space so that craft beer will fit in there as well, which means it's not as like I think our original ones. It was you drop a can and it would just slowly glide in. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But at the expense of no craft beer, and that's not what I'm about. That's anathema to my beliefs.
Yeah, you gotta do your own brand.
Mhm.
I wonder, I don't know how 3D printing works clearly. Is it possible to print something along the lip that could like, I have some koozie holders that you unscrew something, pop it in, and then you rescrew it and it holds it snug.
You definitely could.
To do a screw in, to keep it in there. Yeah, you 100% could. It would need to be, everything would have to be a little bit bigger. Right, because you need the screw around it. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that would definitely, because actually it's funny today, my mom, who's also been inspired from us to start crafting and selling things, but she literally just picked up one of those koozies today and was showing us like, I'm gonna do some cool stuff with it. So yeah, that's actually funny that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to steal that idea. You don't need to credit me. Just send me a free one.
Listen, you can get the free face tattoo idea, and we'll take the koozie idea.
Great.
It's equal trade. Yeah.
See, this is what you get when you hang out with geeks on the internet, you guys. You just, it's a community of brain trust. Yeah, I love it. Because a lot of these are like you said, 3D prints, especially TTRPG accessories, can be so expensive. But I've been astounded that your prices are affordable, but they're not so low that you're cutting your costs or like trying to beat the market. Like it's you putting the time, you're putting the material, you're putting the effort and the artistry in. So it's going to be more than like one of those free koozies you get at fairs that they just pass out, obviously. But they can't roll your dice and they can't store your dice and they can't come with a story like yours. So I thought your pricing is right on point, right where it should be.
Thank you so much. And it is also, it's in Canadian. Yeah. So you're making a much better deal off of it than us as well.
Yeah.
But
what's the conversion? What's 53?
It's very bad in our favor. Yeah. Hold up. Let me pull up. I'm guessing it's going to be about 32 US.
Oh no, I think 40.
Hey Siri.
Hold up. Let me.
What?
I don't want to know.
In
it's getting worse by the day. 37.
Okay.
37.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
36.
there you go.
67.
Yeah.
That's so affordable. Just kidding. Your prices are insane. They're asinine. And buying them up before you change your minds tonight.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I always struggle with price because I would rather make a little less money on them and make sure that it gets into people. I'd rather people playing with the stuff that we make than just like having it as this ultra premium thing. Because like I don't think 3D printing necessarily needs to be a premium. It should be accessible, and if you don't have a 3D printer, that's okay. Yeah. You shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg to also have these things, right? So
right. I just love that you have a heart for this community, so you're not trying to stiff arm everybody.
Yeah.
Do you have pictures of all of these? Like you can't see. I'm scrolling on like Rogue, Mimic, Classic, Wizard.
If you check out the Kickstarter's probably a little bit better. This is the if you click on Kickstarter projects, up top, So the sip and rollers is our first one.
Those are all the D&D class designs. Oh, if you go up, perhaps.
Did it?
Here.
Oh, it disappeared.
Oh no, there it is. There it is. It's like no, down. You have to.
Right here.
There you go.
You have to back new Kickstarters. This is old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is one we designed a mug for each D&D 5e class.
I see.
Yeah, and then there's more photos down.
This one has the HP trackers in it as well.
Yeah,
there's
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. I gotta imagine that when you were creating these, you'd be like, okay, guys, we got a great idea. I need to go to sleep. And then you'd wake up at like 3 a.m. You're like, what if we add storage?
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. You go back to sleep.
Yes.
HP trackers.
Yes.
There's
storage in the handle that screws off and you can hold an entire dice set in. We just kept
Shut
adding.
up.
Yeah.
We really maximize every single design that we try to put together.
Yep. One of these is coming home with me.
Build plate. So if you can smush a lot more into it, you get a lot more out.
Yeah, like, okay, talk to me about the logistics of printing like this on a 3D printer. How many pieces are you printing this in, and how big is your build plate? Like, is it standard, or are you like at massive level?
We try to make it so that the standard printer size. You can go ahead.
So the minimum build, not minimum, but the smallest standard build plate size is 180 by 180 millimeters, whatever that means in inches.
Oh God!
But,
don't say the word meter to me. It means nothing.
So 3D printing world is all in millimeters. So if you're a 3D printer, watch it. Yeah. If you're a 3D printer, it makes a little bit of sense, even if you're in the States. But there's 180 by 180 millimeters. It's like 18 centimeters. Inches is another number. But so we try to make sure all of our designs will fit on that. And then our build plate that we work on is 250 by 250 millimeters, which is just under a foot. It's 10 inches, roughly 10 inches.
Okay. I gotta go check my Ender V3 now and see how big that is.
Ender V3 is 220 by 220, so that's going to be just under 9 inches by 9 inches.
Okay, so it's not the smallest, not the biggest.
Yeah.
That's on track for Bozer. Yeah,
spot right in the middle. Yeah. So the ones we use is 250 by 250. That's just like the bamboo printers. Like everything's kind of around 250 by 250 now.
Our whole fleet is bamboo.
Everything's bamboo for us, and then
your whole fleet. You moved from a farm to a fleet.
It is. I guess. Yeah.
In the States, we have a store called Farm and Fleet, but it will not sell me anything as cool as what you're making.
I mean, build plates go up to crazy sizes though. Like the the largest consumer level printer now is up to like 500 by 500. It's trying to put it in. It's very big. It's 500 by 500 millimeters, and then it goes up to like a meter tall.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you're trying to dumb this down for stage.
No.
Not dumb. It's just I'm trying to imperialize it. Yeah.
Imperial.
But I honestly never work in inches. Every single time anything is offered to me in inches, I run away.
And yet you're translating it beautifully for me. So you know a lot more than I do. Proud of you.
Oh, thanks. So anyway, so build plates can be all over, but we try to design for like the average size build plate, which is usually like the Ender 3v2 or 3v3. Like that's the average size build plate I find. So you want to make sure everything fits on that. And then everything should be printed in one piece. When it's not one piece, it'd be, for example, like the tray, because we want to have the snap-on tray.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And we also want to design everything. I don't know how much it means to you, but with no supports. So with 3D printing, anytime
you gotta have those little stickies.
The little stickies, exactly. Man's
a
printing expert. So we want to avoid the stickies because stickies are bad. So we try to design everything to be support free.
Yeah.
So you can literally just print it, take it off the build plate, and use it. You don't have to then spend time with little snips and pliers and pulling off things and slicing your hands open multiple times. That's not fun. We want our products to be fun and super easy to use.
Oh my God, I just saw the Mimic.
Love the Mimic, yeah.
That is so cool. And that's on the site. Oh, fuck yeah.
I know, we got a Cthulhu mug, and then our more recent Kickstarter is quite a bit of Lord of the Rings inspired fantasy.
Yeah, this one was D&D, and then our newest Kickstarter was pop culture. A lot of Lord of the Rings, but we also did the latest snack bowl we did. I think we have here. We have a Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, I saw that's one of the first things that I saw.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. At your stuff.
Again, working in the mirrored space. And this is another case of just doing absolutely excess that I don't even know if people are going to know this, because I don't think we advertise it. But like, for example, all these little potion bottles have little slots for like D20s. So you can hold and charge your D20s.
Mm-hmm.
So they all have like little, instead of like the cork on the top of the bottle, you put your, like ice and stuff.
Nice. Is that the black flame candle at the top?
Yes.
And then we have the black flame candle at the top. Yeah.
It was little footprints for Binks, and then inside the cauldron, underneath the bowl, whether you store snacks or dice, you can also
there's
have
always
storage.
like going to be like lots of storage under here. We have dice organizers and stuff that you can print and like have your dice organized and stuff. So really just another example of just trying to jam as much as possible, maximize everything.
And you said a lot is on your Kickstarter. So are they not available on your site yet, or do they need to go straight to your Kickstarter and support?
No, it should have on our Etsy. So my Etsy is still the primo spot to be on. I update it the most as I slowly switch to our own website. But it would have all the pieces from our Kickstarter. We try to fulfill the Kickstarter first, and then we put out the STLs individually and the products.
Here's the Hocus Pocus snack holder.
Yes, and then just below is the STL version that you can purchase to print yourself.
I think it's wild to me. If I were in your guys' business,
I
would never provide the STL.
Yeah.
I'd say, fuck you, buy from me.
Sure.
But it just shows what kind of hearts you guys have that does not exist in my soul.
Well, seeing people like when I come across on a page or they tag me, it really brings me joy seeing the colors they printed it, or when they paint it, or when they're featuring it in their game night with their friends and they're having fun. It's like, seeing it out in the world is really exciting for us. And there's always the risk, like when you put STLs out, that it gets copied or used or posted somewhere else. But we just keep designing more stuff. So we're like, that's okay. We keep on going.
Yeah, that's like, you have a thought and you risk, but like, what's the mental gymnastics that you're doing to decide whether it's worth it or not? By the way, this Harry Potter detail is fucking insane.
This one,
I want to do all the houses.
We got a little carried away with this one.
Yeah.
But it was something. Yeah, we did one Harry Potter design, and we're like, all right, we're going all out.
Go ham, yeah.
But yeah, what it for price? You mean like what we think we're gonna sell?
No, but like doing STLs and like instead of hoarding it to yourself, you know.
I honestly, I'd rather.
We bought a lot too, right? So that's how we started. We didn't know how to design things, so we bought merchant license, and it's also a way to pay it forward. It's like, well, that's how we got our start. So if we can help someone else start out with our designs, like, go do it, enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would much rather have more people having and printing and using the things that we design than try to hoard it to ourselves and be like, no, I'm the only one who sells these things. Come to me. Right? That's
I mean, but that's so counterintuitive to. It's great, and I'm thrilled about it. But the more that we see today, like, everything's a subscription service, and everything is like, great, you love this, you want the 7-day free trial, now you're going to pay for it, $50 a month, and auto renews. And so it is counterintuitive and was countercultural, but I think that just highlights the difference between not only you, but the culture of the TTRPG community. And the creator community, because like creators got to support creators, right?
Exactly. And we also never went to business school, so maybe we don't know what we're doing. But
we're winging it. So you know
we're
what?
Just doing it out of love and enjoyment.
Yeah, maybe it bites us in the ass, but honestly, we've been having so much fun, and that I wouldn't trade the memories and the joy of seeing like other people printing it and having fun with it.
Yeah.
Like that's worth more for us. Like we've we've had enough like sort of success and like and enjoyment and
I
stuff
think
from our
people
business. So yeah,
are also grateful that we do it this way, in this manner, and they're more willing to share their ideas on like how we can improve or what they want to see next, and they're more willing to keep supporting us campaign after campaign. I definitely see repeat buyers all the time, and so I don't really want to change our method. Definitely, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, it's that goodwill that you're putting in. It's like that karma. When you give good, you get good.
Yeah, so I really appreciate them reaching out and letting us know like what else we can add to the next campaign. That's huge for us too.
Mm-hmm.
And I find like in my outside of FGBG world, sometimes I try to bring the mentality that all of us have here in this space out into like the separate business world, and it gets pushed back hard. It's like, no, if you offer something lower value, then it's seen as lower value. Or
yes, that's true.
I'm like, no, when people feel like you're giving them something, they're way more likely to come back, because it's like a gratitude thing. And it's like they could screw me over right now. They're opting not to. And I am grateful for that. I'm coming back again and again and again.
I think it's a different world in the TTRPG community, right? Like I think people really respond to that. Like you're saying, like it's you put out what you want back in the world, and we're trying to put out, you know, good vibes, and it seems like we're getting it back in return.
Good vibes are not worth nothing. Really, they are worth their weight in gold. And I hope that people can start to adopt the same mindset that you guys have and this community has. Because imagine a world where that was the norm. Can you just imagine? It seems like that's the dystopian society now, as opposed to what we're actually living in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for being so nihilistic tonight. I think I have a lot of feelings.
Hey, you know, it's,
But you're up there in cozy Canada.
It's at least it's very cold. We are trapped in a snowstorm right now, so I mean we're not. I'm not going to pretend to translate degrees, but it's clearly not as warm as you are over there.
I didn't realize that, but when you said earlier, like what it was degrees wise, and I was like, oh, that sounds so cold. Now I have no idea what temperature it is. It could be the same for all I know.
That's true.
All right, so I'm watching the stream. I'm watching this back on YouTube or podcast, and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I'm going to take the leap. I have a 3D printer in my box. It's finally going to be time that I put it together. Let's talk like a little bit of the real. What were some of like the real life challenges that you guys went through, whether it was just bringing this business to life, whether it was working with your partner? I know we highlighted some really great things, but I feel like it's only responsible to talk about those things that people often don't want to talk about or don't want to think about. That if they were to pursue this, they thought, what the hell? Why didn't I know this? Like, what's something that you wish you would have known or somebody would have told you when you were just starting out?
For me, I wish we got a reliable printer early on, because you know, on top of being a student and working and like being huge socially, I mean, having printers that constantly, like almost daily, needed fixing, a broken part, a new part, to relearn how to. It was just a lot of time, and it was a few years until we started investing in a reliable printer. So I think in hindsight, earlier on, we would have saved a lot of time, and it would have expanded our bandwidth as well and our capacity, you know, mentally, but also to be able to produce and do more things.
It wasn't an Ender V3, was it?
No. It was an Ender. It was a knockoff of an Ender the V3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it wasn't just that.
And we won some printers that were random.
Exactly. So what ended up happening is we were just. It's a slow build, right? You get more printers and stuff, but we were still in a mindset of trying to save as much money as possible and not wanting to spend money on printers. And we would literally get the jankiest Frankenstein printers I could find on Marketplace, paying $100 a printer, just absolute garbage machines.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be into like 3 a.m.
And it was great when they worked and stuff. And I had like, oh, look at all these printers. And I think at that point we had, I think 18 or 20 printers.
I'm sorry?
18, all different makes. Everything.
You had...
That's...
Okay, where are you storing these printers? Do you have a warehouse?
They were everywhere. No, they were in our kitchen.
Everywhere in the house.
They were in our laundry room. They were in our closet. They were by the TV. I think we didn't sleep for a while.
No, and it was...
You blacked out. You can't remember.
No, it was they were everywhere, and it was just taking over... It was taking over my life. Specifically with having to do all of this, the printer maintenance and everything. And there was a point, and it was the first time we'd ever done Kickstarter, and we put out our product, and it was absolutely didn't charge enough for it.
Yeah.
And we were, we tried a new filament that we'd never tried before, and it was just problem.
It could have broke us for sure.
But there was a point where I was almost done with 3D printing. I was gonna just drop the hobby entirely.
So having that partner to encourage you, like I think doing it on your own is, I can't imagine, but I'm sure people do it every day for sure.
But yeah, so yeah, what we would our recommendation would be get a starter printer, like learn how to print with it, and like learn 3D printing from a starter printer first. But if you want to do it at all in like large volume, it's worth it to spend the money for higher quality machines. Absolutely, it was night and day. But from our old setup to what we have now.
Because it's like you get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know.
And especially when you're starting out. Yeah, a lot of us, like myself included, unless they were gifted to me, I probably wouldn't have bought myself a 3D printer because I'm like, I don't want to put the money into something that I have no idea how to use. Yeah. And then I'd probably buy something really shitty and as a starter, and then find out that it's shitty, but not know it's shitty, and just think that 3D printing is impossible and hard and annoying, and just give up.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd rather just learn the hard things through you, so I don't have to.
Yeah, no,
all of our printers now really are just bamboo.
Yeah, we moved all of our now. What's nice now is that everything's the same printer. So when we prepare a file, it's the same file.
Yes, I can't imagine that you'd have to figure out 18 to 20 different program settings.
I get nightmares thinking about
that. It gives me stress hives.
Yeah.
And I'm not even that. It's not my life.
Yeah. Every single day, one printer would break.
Yeah.
And it was always something different.
Yeah.
It was a wild time, my guy.
You had 20 different children that spoke 20 different languages.
Yes. That's what it was. Had to keep feeding them, fixing them.
And they all had very specific dietary restrictions.
Yes. Truly, yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. The other tip would just be like advertise your product. Like if someone wants to go past just printing for their friends and family and personal self, if they wanted to have like a little side hustle, you gotta get on Instagram and maybe TikTok, some other mediums, and just keep posting your item and advertise.
Just post anything.
Because if people don't know about it, they're not really gonna come across it. There's how many millions of businesses and one's doing the similar things. So just like searching until you're until you're coming up on these feeds. You got to put yourself out there, and it can take a year. It can take 2 years. It can take 3 years. So if you're really passionate about it and you really love it, just keep going. I think that's my advice.
Yeah. Like, can we talk a little bit about social media? Especially we talked about it ever changing. Like now I feel like we are at a crossroads where social media is about to change in big ways, and we're not sure. So do you have a advertising strategy? Like, do you know what platforms you plan to focus on, or are you just still kind of sticking to your guns? Like, we're just on Instagram and YouTube and Twitch, and we're like, you know what? That works for us for now.
Yeah. I think we're in similar spots where like I put a lot of my energy mainly into TikTok. It grew a lot and my Instagram didn't. And only in last year, my Instagram grew more. And I know I should get on YouTube. I sometimes post a little bit. It's that capacity that we come back to where we still have full-time jobs. So I think I'd expand more. Yeah, I'd go to YouTube and I don't know, some other mediums if I had more time.
From what we see, TikTok used to be our bread and butter. TikTok was doing fantastic. There's been a significant drop off in TikTok where now it seems like views. Views, where now Instagram has been phenomenal. And I hear good things about YouTube. We haven't been able to go crazy with YouTube yet to get a lot of traction, but I have heard some people have pretty good success with YouTube Shorts.
So I think just being on multiple platforms and being consistent and putting your energy where it makes you happy. So like I still do TikTok and I'll do the same video and post on Instagram and somewhere else because some people don't have one or the other.
Right. And I remember when social media was fun, you would really augment your content for a platform because it attracted a certain demographic.
Yeah.
And it was a number of years ago that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just put the same thing on all of them. And I don't know if this is good social media advice, but because not everybody has the same thing.
No,
and
that's how I feel.
Then you might see it twice. And you got to see it 7 times before it like actually sticks. So why not see it multiple times? You think you're
and not even by you. People are going to duet you. They're going to post it somewhere else. So even if it's not you, someone else shared your same video sometimes to Facebook and somewhere else. It's like, whatever, you do it. That's okay.
I think we see that the other thing is like any advice you get about social media.
Yeah.
You honestly do what you want to do. Do like whatever you can do to be consistent, do that. Because like I think
that's the key right there.
So many people are like, you absolutely never repost anything. It has to be like it'll trash you in the algorithm. Kira, but it's not the case. Like if something flops once, it doesn't mean it's dead forever.
You try different hashtags.
Try something else. Like just try to bring it back later. And like we have videos where the first time you put it out, 1,000 views. And you're like, yeah, that's great. And then you repost it
it's like
months from now and it hits millions, right? So it's like you're just playing with this weird little algorithm that seems like it changes every day.
Yeah.
And if people tell you that they know exactly how they don't. Just do whatever you want to do, and someday maybe the algorithm will that's what I want right now. You know?
Yeah, you just pray to your algorithm gods.
Yeah, just hype up other people and then connect with others and build that community, and then I don't know, you supporting them, they'll support you, and it grows from there, I find as well.
Yeah. You're never, don't think you're alone.
No.
Try to reach out to interact with other online creators. Try to get that community going, and amplifying each other's voices, I think is the best, like the best way to expand as quickly as possible.
And an add-on to that, it better be genuine connection and engagement. People
Absolutely.
Don't be dropping your link in people's comments and spamming discords thinking, look, I'm creating community. We can read right through that shit. It's got to be genuine. Like people, that's why I love these Geek Out sessions, because it takes content creators and cosplayers, artists, authors, and it lets people see like the real you and hear your actual story. And I think that is the connection that I might see some other mug printer and I'd be like, fuck them, I don't know them, but I know Kira and Jacob. I'm gonna buy from them. By the way, the ones I just fucked, come on, I need you as more guests.
Exactly.
And so it just allows you to share your story, and I think that right there is what is going to connect us all and save humanity, hopefully, if there is anything worth saving eventually. So thank you so much tonight for coming on and sharing your story and your process, and I hope that you at least see a small spike in sales, or at the very least you got one extra sale, because I am definitely taking one of these home with me tonight.
This has been amazing. We really appreciate it. It's our first interview, and it's a really wonderful experience to share. and have that opportunity to talk about how far we've come.
Well, good. You got the first one out of the way with somebody that doesn't matter. Soon you're going to be on the big channel. You're going to be on the news. It's going to blow up. It's going to be amazing. And I'll be shouting, I knew them when. Final question. When somebody buys something that you have created, like whether it be a mug, whether it be a Dice Guardian, what is the thing that you hope that person takes away from your product?
Joy, giddiness, I don't know, sharing something excitedly that they got and then showing their friends, and just because then they're going to connect again with their fellow players or their friends and family, and then just something that they can identify with is just special to us. Yeah,
I'd want them to take away something that they didn't think they needed, but then they see it and they're like, oh my god, where has this been all my life? Like that's what we're trying to go for, like trying to have things that are outside of the box that fills a niche you didn't even know you had. That's what I feel is the goal of our art, what I'm hoping people are seeing when they were buying our products.
And that's what I see when I see especially the dice rolling mugs is, holy shit, this makes so much sense. Why am I taking up feet of space with all of these things, but I can combine them in one, and it's a cool story. It looks awesome. It's on brand. It enhances the look of my table. I look cool drinking out of it, and everybody's going to be jealous of me until they go get their own, because I'm going to talk about it and tell them exactly where to go.
Oh, thank you.
So all of you at home, thank you for joining us for tonight's Geek Out Sesh. Again, come back every Monday. We do this all the time with brand new geek guests and creators. We have another one lined up next week. It's going to be amazing. And if you haven't already, use Command Kira in the chat, or you can go below if you're watching back after the fact or listening on podcast. Find their links. You're going to find a link to their website, as well as the Etsy, as well as their Instagram. Yeah, I'm going to put them all because I don't want anybody to miss anything. And just give them the love, because you've heard it. They deserve it. They at least deserve your follow, if not your purchase, because they definitely deserve your purchase, so that you can buy something, you can show it off to your friends, and just help support this community, because you're as awesome as we talked you up this whole stream. Don't let me down now.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, this has been awesome, you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Stick around for the raid chat. We are going to raid Marshall Silver, who is playing Hyrule Warriors.
Ooh.
And show them the kind of love that only you can get from an FGBG community. But Kira, Jacob, thank you. This is awesome. I hope that you keep us updated with all the next kind of projects and further Kickstarters. And you're always welcome back whenever you have something brand new or exciting that you're ready to geek out about. That's what I'm here for. I may not know what you're talking about, or centimeters, or the other one of Fahrenheit.
We'll bring a conversion guide.
Yeah. Now we know. 2025 will be great for us all, or big for us.
Yeah.
But I will be here excited to geek out with you, as well as all of you. So thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, I'm Bozer.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Kira.
And you just keep geeking out. You did it!
Hey!
Bye-bye.
No problem. We just did that off the cuff for sure.
Oh.